I always refuse official honors. Sartre wrote to a Swedish media reporter on October 22, 1964. I regret that this is a controversial thing. The prize was decided to be awarded to me, but I refused. The reason is simply that I didn't know about this happening earlier. I read a message from the newspaper's Swedish correspondent in Le Figaro on October 15th, saying that the Swedish Academy might award the scholarship to me, but the matter has not yet been decided. At this time, I thought, if I just write a letter to the Swedish Academy, I can change this matter and no one will mention me anymore. I sent the letter the next day. I did not know at that time that the Nobel Prize was awarded without consulting the recipients. I also thought it was timely for me to write to stop it. But I didn't know that once the Swedish Academy makes a decision, it can't go back on it. My reasons for rejecting the prize do not concern the Swedish Academy, nor the Nobel Prize itself, as I explained in my letter to the Swedish Academy. I mentioned two kinds of reasons in my letter, namely personal reasons and objective reasons. My personal reasons are as follows. My refusal is not a hasty action. I have always declined official honors. For example, after the war ended in 1945, I was offered the Medal of Honor, but I declined, even though I had friends in the government. Likewise, I never wanted to go to the college to France, even though some of my friends suggested it. This attitude comes from the way I view the work of a writer. A writer who expresses his attitude toward politics, society, and literature can only act by using his means, that is, written words. All the honors he can receive will create a kind of pressure on his readers, and I think this kind of pressure is undesirable. Whether I am signed by Sartre or whether I am a Nobel Prize winner, Sartre is not the same thing. A writer who accepts such honors will also involve the group or institution that awarded him the honorary title. I am sympathetic to the Venezuelan guerrillas. This matter only concerns me, but if the Nobel Prize winner Sartre supports Venezuela's resistance movement, then he would implicate all the Nobel laureates as institutions. So writers should resist being transformed into an institution, even in the form of accepting a prestigious honor like the Nobel Prize. This attitude is entirely my own and is in no way meant to criticize previous Nobel laureates. I have great respect and admiration for some of these recipients, and I feel privileged to have known them. My objective reason is this. The only possible struggle on the cultural front at the moment is the struggle for the coexistence of the two cultures, Eastern and Western. I am not saying that both sides should embrace each other. I know clearly that the confrontation between two cultures will inevitably exist in the form of conflict, but this conflict should be between people, culture, without the need for institutional participate. I personally feel deeply the contradictions between the two cultures. These contradictions exist within myself. My sympathies undoubtedly tend towards socialism, that is, towards the Eastern Bloc, but I was born into a bourgeois family and grew up in a bourgeois culture. This enables me to work with anyone who is willing to bring these two clashing cultures closer to each other. But of course I hope socialism wins. Therefore, I cannot accept any honors from high-level cultural institutions, whether Eastern or Western, even if I fully understand the existence of these institutions. I know very well that the Nobel Prize itself is not a literary award of the Western group, but it has actually become such a literary award. Some things may not be decided by the members of the Swedish Academy. So as far as the current situation is concerned, the Nobel Prize is objectively presented as an honor given to Western writers and Eastern rebels. For example, Neruda, a great South American poet, did not receive this honor. In addition, people never took Aragon seriously, but he should have received this honor. The Swedish Academy mentioned freedom in its reasons for awarding me the prize, a word that invites many interpretations. In the West, people only understand freedom in general. But what I understand is a more specific kind of freedom, the freedom to have more than one pair of shoes and to have enough to eat. Finally, let me talk about money. When the Academy of Liberal Arts gives a huge sum of money to the winners, it also puts something very heavy on the shoulders of the winners. This issue makes me very embarrassed. Or accept the prize and use the money to support what I consider to be an important organization or movement. In my case, I thought of the South African Apartheid Committee in London. By declining the grant on general principles, I would be depriving the movement of funding it may need. But I don't think that's really a problem. Obviously, I refused the bonus of 250,000 kronor because I did not want to be institutionalized. People cannot ask me to give up my principles for the bonus of 250,000 kronor. It should be noted that these principles are not only yours, but also yours. What all your peers agree with. It was this that made me feel very embarrassed both about the gift of the bonus and the rejection I had to make. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to the Swedish public.